subject to the House agreeing briefs, and I feel also uncomfortable that they have not had sufficient time to be prosecuted. So if you agree, Milemba, you are a member of the House Business Committee, bring it up on Tuesday, and we'll open up for the House to have a special private members' business sitting on Thursday morning. Yes. Give Honorable Wangwe the mic.
Whereas Honorable Speaker, order.
For example, this morning, so we're in the House when we are required to be. Because
Speaker, interest in which and the importance in which it is attached to it, at times it becomes a committee bill.
yes.
For example, my bill, which was the Kenya Drugs Authority, because of its importance, and which we've actually done winnowing. And this is a bill to which it will help this country to be able to do local manufacturing of vaccines, drugs, which can be utilized within the region. And this is something that many of the either international investors or even our own biofax and Kenya Primate Research Institute are waiting for it. That is making the National Drug Authority to be a level 3 country, for maturity level 3, according to the WHO classification. That allows us to be able to manufacture and export our drugs. Right now, as we speak, Honorable Speaker, it has been waiting, even after winnowing. We also have another bill by Emilia Thiambo on assisted reproductive health, which the committee is also winnowing now. We finished winnowing of the Kenya Drugs Authority, but both of them are now waiting to be scheduled. So I urge the House Business Committee that please, these are very important bills. You can also reschedule them for debate by the House.
I actually flagged out your bill in the House Business Committee this week, and the response I got was that the process of winnowing is incomplete, and that's why it is delayed. If it is complete, then follow it up with the clerk's office, and it will come to the House Business Committee on Tuesday. Yes. Let's go to the next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Order number 5, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, afternoon sitting. 1. Response by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, on the special motion on his proposed removal from office by impeachment. 2. Annual National Government Budget Implementation Review Reports for the financial year 2023-2024 from the Office of the Controller Budget. And lastly, the biannual report of the Commission on Administrative Justice for the period July to December 2023. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Chairman, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal, Honorable Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 9th October 2024. Report of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, and the report of the Multisectoral Working Group, MSWG, on the realization of the 2/3 gender rule. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Murugara. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security. Raso, you are the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 9th October 2024. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on its consideration of 1. The County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023, and 2. the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2024. I beg to lay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Yes. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Report of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, and the report of the Multisectoral Working Group, MSWG, on the realization of the 2/3 gender principle laid on the table of the House today, Thursday, 9th October 2024. This is what it is. This, and attached to this report is also the NADCO report itself. So this is why the report looks bulky, but our report is not as bulky as the document I'm laying on the table of the House. This is the report that contained proposed constitutional amendments, including entrenchment and many other proposals that were brought up during the NADCO discussions. Honorable members, please get a copy of this report, in as much as NADCO had made it clear that we cannot alter even a comma. We have adhered to that proposition, but as members of the committee and as the House, the law-making house in the country, we have made our comments and proposals, which proposals will be what we are going to discuss when the matter comes up for debate.
Thank you.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, Section 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport Infrastructure regarding suspension of flights between Nairobi and Kakamega by Skyward Express. Honorable Speaker, the Kakamega airstrip has been a vital air travel link between Nairobi and Western Kenya for many years. The airstrip serves as a crucial transport infrastructure, enhancing regional connectivity and promoting economic development. Many residents rely on the airstrip for efficient travel, medical emergencies, and to facilitate business operations. Sadly, reports indicate that the key operators in the route, including Skyward Express, have suspended operations due to safety concerns arising from the poor condition of the facility. This suspension of flights has caused significant disruption to the livelihoods of many, cutting off an essential service that connects them to other parts of the country. Honorable Speaker, the poor state of the Kakamega airstrip, particularly the presence of potholes on the runway, raises serious safety concerns for air operators and the general public. These issues have been long-standing and have now reached a critical point, leading to the suspension and halting of flight operations. It is therefore imperative that the government act swiftly to resolve this matter, restore safe flight operations, and prevent further disruptions. Honorable Speaker, it's again in this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure to apprise the House on the following. Number 1, a status report on the state of disrepair of the Kakamega airstrip, given the safety risks posed to the users. Number 2, immediate actions being taken to repair the airstrip to meet acceptable aviation standards. And number 3, a comprehensive plan of the maintenance of the Kakamega airstrip, its expansion, as well as other regional airstrips, to prevent similar safety concerns from occurring and guarantee long-term operational reliability. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
GK, that is your docket. What has happened to the airstrip?
We will look into the matter, Honorable Speaker, and report back to the House. I request for 2 weeks to be able to come here with a comprehensive response.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes, Honorable Speaker.
2 weeks is too long on this.
Yeah.
Can you bring a preliminary statement on Thursday next week?
I'll do so, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you.
That airstrip is new. You should inquire why it should have potholes on the runway. Anton Oloch. Anton Oloch, member from Mathare. Hold on, Anthony, before you take the floor. Honorable members, I wish to recognize and welcome 5 members of staff drawn from the Parliamentary Training Institute of the Parliament of Ghana, who are in the Speaker's Gallery. They are welcome to observe the proceedings of the House. Most welcome, Akwaba. Next, Anthony.
Honorable Speaker,
You didn't have their name?
I rise pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44.2c. Honorable Speaker, I wish to request a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the revised ceilings for the financial year 24-25 work plans issued by the Kenya Roads Board Authority. Honorable Speaker, these revised work plans are contained in a letter or a circular dated 8th October 2024, and which came to our attention today. Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, there has been a systematic reduction of allocations of funds allocated in the 22% ceiling and the 10% ceilings issued by the Kenya Road Boards Authority. Additionally, the High Court in Nairobi issued an interim conservatory order on 19th August 2024, directing the Kenya Roads Authority to freeze and withhold funds collected in financial year 24-25 to the extent of Kenya shillings 10,522,211,858 to be allocated to the county governments. In view of this, the Kenya Roads Board Authority has revised the 22% and 10% constituency ceilings allocation for the financial year 2020-2025. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Report on the reasons for the systematic reduction of allocations of 22% and 10% funding to KERA for roads and construction of maintenance and measures in place to avert such reductions in future. Number 2, immediate revocation of the circular on the reduction and return of status quo on the ceilings for the financial year 2024-2025. Number 3, measures put in place to secure the funds, including holding the collected funds in a suspense account pending the conclusion of the court case. And number 4, comprehensive reports on the usage of the Kenya shillings 7 fuel levy allocations in the supplementary budget in the financial year 2024-2025. Signed, Anthony Oloch, 9th of October 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, KJ?
Mr. Speaker, I must thank Wakili Oloch for bringing this matter to the attention of the House. And in fact, it is a charge we are putting on the chair of the Transport Committee, who we know is able to follow through on this issue and bring a good response. Mr. Speaker, what is at risk here is the benefits that have been accruing from this decentralized fund. And it is clear to the minds of members here that there is a hand behind these court cases that keep coming up and are addressed towards stifling these all-important fund. And I would not be embarrassed to say that we see the hand of governors in this issue. Mr. Speaker, this House does a lot of other monies that are decentralized, up to and including the National Government Constituency Development Fund. This 22%, Mr. Speaker, is also decentralized monies from the center and equally distributed across the constituencies. But we know that the governors are very keen to put their hand into these coffers, Mr. Speaker. So as this committee is interrogating this issue, they need to find a way of making sure that these governors get to know what this House is saying, that you have given you a responsibility and a charge to take control over the devolved monies. But these monies that are devolved, we don't see them in our constituencies. However, that which is decentralized, the 22%, the 10%, is what is building the road networks and access roads in our constituencies. In a place like Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, while all other members enjoy being from different regions, we hear people from Western region, from the Coast region, from the Northeastern region. In Nairobi, when it comes to distribution of resources, Nairobi is never considered a region. So the only benefit that accrues for these members of parliament and their constituents out of the national budget is that which is decentralized. And that is why I would imagine that Wakili Oluoch is keen to know what is happening to this all-important fund that helps him put up the access roads and the roads that are required in Mathare constituencies, just as we would need in Dagoretti and other constituencies in Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, kindly direct that this is brought to a halt. And the only person who is able to do that is the Committee on Transport, to communicate exactly what this House is saying to the governors so that we do not have a repeat of these court cases that are sponsored by people who do not mean well for decentralization. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted to also commend Honorable Watch for the statement that he has sought from the Chair, Departmental Committee of Transport. Honorable Speaker, it is true that consistently there's been reduction in the resources going to CDF, to KERA for the purposes of building roads in the villages. And this particular one was occasioned by governors who went to court to take a slice of these resources. Honorable Speaker, this country has the most inept governors. I have gone to countries where countries that are practicing devolution like Ghana and Nigeria. And here in the country we have governors who are lazy, who are just traveling across the world, doing nothing. With the resources that they have been given fairly by this House, they do not use them properly. Now, they are going to attack the resources that have been given to us that MPs are using successfully to build roads that you can see in the constituency. So, Honorable Speaker, this House must condemn the action by governors to go to court to take these KERA resources from KERA. These resources have been used fairly, and in fact, Honorable Speaker, when you go to villages, you can clearly see the roads that have been done by KERA. You can never see roads done by governors. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to ask you that you should not allow this House to be undermined by governors. And as the Speaker of this House, let us ensure that we protect the resources that are helping Kenyans. I want to say that governors, and I think they're listening, governors, please work with the money that we have been given by this House. Don't look for these resources from us. Otherwise, we need to start calling for governors. In fact, there's nothing that stops us, Honorable Speaker, from summoning governors. I've seen senators summoning ministers on things that are not even within their scope. So I think going forward, Honorable Speaker, we need to begin to summon governors to come and appear before us, because we must protect this country from these lazy governors. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Nabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to commend Honorable Watch for this statement. Honorable Speaker, there is a very good reason why roads are rated differently. We have roads which are rated for county governments, and we have roads for national government. And Honorable Speaker, the reason that was done was after realization in the first county governments were unable to do all the roads. And after they were unable, there was an agreement between national government and the county government that there must be roads to be done by the national government and roads by the county governments. Now, one wonders why they were unable to do those roads. They gave them back to national government, and they are now raiding the same amount of money that is supposed to do those roads. Honorable Speaker, governors must be reminded that even this House is the one that allocates the money. That if you raid the hand that feeds you, that hand can deny you the food that it gives you every other day. And I'm calling this on this House to be vigilant about county governments, and also ask our brothers in the Senate to supervise these people, because the money they get, they are not doing the roads in the counties. If you go into my constituency, you will hardly see a road done by the county government of Kakamega, but you will see the roads done by Kera. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm requesting, like my brother Atandi, that you need to protect what belongs to national government. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Rindikiri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's becoming fashionable every financial year. There is a new circular coming from the Kenya Loans Board. And I'm wondering why a Kenya Loans Board does this, and there is a system that is already agreed upon. Mr. Speaker, this matter came to this House last year, financial year. And Mr. Speaker, I think this trend is being perpetuated slowly. We don't know where Kenya Loans Board does not consult the members of parliament through the chairman of committee or through the Minister of Loans. Now, I find it very ironical when Kenya Loans Board is in consultation with the Council of Governors, and they agree and they do a circular. Mr. Speaker, I think this is not in order. I join Honorable Oluoch that this trend must come to an out, that it should be known that the governors, except for the money that is doing the incredible job in the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, the loans that are under Keller are the ones that join two constituencies. Mr. Speaker, it is very clear demarcation. Mr. Speaker, these are the loans that are done comfortably trans constituencies. Mr. Speaker, the governors have failed to do simple roads communicating the villages. And Mr. Speaker, if they cannot manage the many billions they have, and they're finding it easier to manage the 20 million, let them give us the 14 billion, 15 billion, so that we manage the money for them. But Mr. Speaker, this habit must be called out. This habit must be called out, and I ask my very good friend, the chairman of this committee, it is your responsibility. You are the bridge between us, the ministry, and the KLB. This money goes, Mr. Chairman, we will discuss you as part of this problem. Thank you.
Do you want to escalate this beyond this? Yes. Yes, let me give to the gentleman next to Murugara, Honorable Member for Keio South. Doctor. Member for Keio South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important matter and compare what Kera does with what the counties does, it is obvious. There is nothing ongoing which is done by the governors. So now they want to take the little that we do in the constituencies through Kera to take to what they usually do, which is non-existent. We shall oppose this, and I join my colleagues in telling the chairman of transport to be vigilant so that we safeguard the little that wananchi see. Let me go to a specific example of my constituency, Keyo South. In Keyo South, I have 6 wards. None of the county roads is ongoing. None. But if you go to the constituency of Keyo South, you will see something being done by Kera. You will see something done last year. You will see something ongoing now. You will see something which was done 2 years ago. And even when they do these roads, the counties, you will see some shoddy job being done. So, as a National Assembly, we say in one voice that let this money stay with Kera because Mwananchi has seen the benefit of what Kera does. Ridiculously, if you go to my constituency, some officials from the county will go and tell people, no, don't do that road because we have already given to Kera. But they have done nothing. And then once you do a road using the Kera money, they bring a signpost and indicate that it is county which has done this road. We shall stop this. We shall not allow this as a National Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mash. Isairo. Members take 2 minutes each.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, would like to thank Honorable Loch for raising this matter, and also would like to categorically state that Council of Governors are becoming an embarrassment to this country. That the work they are supposed to do in the fields of health, they are doing nothing. The footpaths that you've allowed them to maintain, they are unable to maintain. They are always coming for what is meant for the members of parliament. Were it not for these members of parliament, some counties could be inaccessible, including mine. And we will not just sit here and allow this bunch of idlers to be frustrating us every now and then. Enough is enough. And we have to tell them, it's not that we want their seats, but if we want them, we'll still take them. So, the honorable, because they are not even worth being called excellencies, the honorable councils of governors or governors should start focusing on their job. We've never ever gone for their work, gone for their resources. We've appropriated enough funds for them to run their counties, which they are not doing. And they are always coming for the little. Not only are they funding the cases on NGCDF in courts, they've now gone to Kera. Honorable Speaker, with your leadership, we will stand up and defend the constituencies and what is meant for them. The governors, we are not worried about you. We can take care of you individually, at individual levels. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I hope not physically. Zamzam.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ni aibu sana kuona mbunge kama mimi, mbunge wa kike, naomba nikililia barabara ambao ni akaunti. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimepewa pesa ya ngafu ya kuweza kujenga sehemu ambao ni GBV Center. Mheshimiwa Spika, sasa elekea mwaka wa 3 toka approval ya ile project. Shida ni kuwa barabara ambayo inahusu county government hawajaweza kujenga. Mheshimiwa Spika, mpaka juzi namuomba mbunge wangu wa Kisauni Mheshimiwa Rashid Bezimba, na nataka nimpongeze hapa, ndio ameenda kunichimbia barabara. Mheshimiwa Spika, hizi pesa za Kera fadhali mupatie hawa, hizo pesa ziko kwa governors, hawafanyii kitu barabara. Patieni hawa bunge, tunaweza kuwashika mkono humu ndani angawa katufanyia kitu. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni aibu sana kuona kuwa mbunge anaenda akiomba, anaomba, naandika mabarua mpaka anachoka, public participation mheshimiwa nimefanya, lakini barabara tukupewa kujenga sehemu ambayo kina mama wakidhulumiwa wanaweza kusaidika. Mheshimiwa Spika, imekuwa ni ngumu, mpaka Bezimba anaenda kuomba trakta huko, ananipitishia kando kando kidogo ndo nipate mahali pa kujenga. Na mimi nipongeze wabunge wangu wa Mombasa, ndugu yangu Badi yuko hapa, ukienda kwake barabara safi ya wabunge hawa, barabara zao nzuri sana, lakini ukiangalia za county inakuwa kama zile blanket tumepaka hapa mita 100, huelewi zinafanya nini. Mheshimiwa Spika, hizi pesa zitoke ziende kwa hawa wabunge. Najua wengine wetu tutatamani kuwa magavana, lakini kwa hali hii iliyoko saizi, Mheshimiwa Spika, hizi pesa ziingie kwa mikono ya bunge. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
George Murugara.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are quite sad, and thank you, Honorable Anthony Oluoch, for bringing this to our attention. We are just reeling from some judgment that was dictated by the Council of Governors on the CDF. In fact, we've not forgotten, we are very sad, and this is the reason we are saying we have to do the constitutional amendments so that we can shield ourselves from some of these governors who believe that we should not be having money for development. Mr. Speaker, sir, as said by all these members, when you visit the constituencies, what is visible is actually what is done by CDF or by KERA. If you are asked what these governors do with all these billions, majority of them will say, oh, we spend 60% on recurrent expense and we have only 30% for development. And that 30% is nowhere near the CDF, which is so little that in fact we are only able to do what we can do. Time has come for us to look at the Roads Act so that if we wish to make an amendment to it, we take all the money from there. The distribution is after Kenya, after KERA, it is to the constituencies as we deal with the CDF, so that we don't have to have any money going to governors for roads. Let us do all the roads in the constituencies, whether classified as county or national government roads. That is very important, and we should now start looking at the law. We amend it. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Before I give the next member, allow me to acknowledge Clinton Mackenzie Kiome Secondary School from Booni, Makueni, Kahawa Garrison Secondary School from Kasarani, Nairobi. On my behalf and on behalf of the whole House, we welcome the students and their teachers to the House of Parliament. Mama Donya. Yes, I'll give you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. As Mama County from Kisii, who patients call and ask for wheelchairs to be used in hospitals, the work that should be done by governors, Mr. Speaker, I'm worried if they can manage the roads. I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, they can't. If you see the roads done by members of parliament and the ones done by governors, that is day and night, Mr. Speaker. I don't approve this. We can't support it because there is nothing. We've glorified them that they've done perfectly. From health, providing water for our mothers, Mr. Speaker. You can imagine Kisii County rains, we have virgin rains, but at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, women will still flock to the springs to collect water. So if they've not managed water sector, Mr. Speaker, and they've not taken good care of the health sector, let us not make a whole, now the road sector be another issue. Let them handle the health issue, they handle the water issue, but for the roads, I don't think I can give them a vote. They don't deserve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ochanda, member for Bondo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this House, for the first time, has been very magnanimous In fact, out of the normal non-divisional revenue, we gave counties more money through a different legislation, Mr. Speaker, and we added counties money. At the point that we are adding counties, there was no provocation. There was nobody who asked for it. The Council of Governors didn't ask for it. Nobody else asked for it, but we chose to give counties more money. And once we've given them more money, they get ahead to look for other little different ways of how to add themselves more money, particularly on the side of the road sector. Mr. Speaker, roads are classified. And as they are classified, they attract resources or they attract funding based on how they are classified. So if you reduce any monies for a clear classified road, it means that that road will never be done. There are roads that are classified for KERA, there are those that are classified for KENHA, and then there are those that are classified for counties, including KWS and stuff like that in the Act, Mr. Speaker. So if you reduce an element, particularly when you reduce the funds for KERA, it means that those roads will never be done. So this must be very clear to Council of Governors. There are many other ways of how Council of Governors can raise money. In fact, if Council of Governors were wise, there's more money in different sectors in this country that is actually theirs. You'll wonder why there should be money resting in Nairobi for beekeeping in a county. There are counties that have authorities keeping bees. Counties themselves are keeping bees. So you have very many parallel agencies doing the same thing in the counties. Why don't the Council of Governors look for where their monies are still being left in Nairobi instead of going for monies that are clearly known and are clearly classified for purposes of works that are going to benefit the communities? Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Chairman of the Committee on Roads, GK, you can hear these animated sentiments on the road issue. I want to assure the House I'll support members of Parliament on this issue. And GK, you bring a preliminary response to this statement on Wednesday afternoon next week. It is urgent and you must work around the clock to bring a statement on Wednesday. And if the statement is unsatisfactory, I'll summon the minister here for you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is true that there's a circular that was sent yesterday by KERA to regional engineers indicating that RIMLF allocation for constituencies has been reduced from 61 million per constituency to 34 million. Honorable Speaker, when I saw that circular, I immediately engaged the ministry and I asked why they never engaged us as the committee, considering that we are key stakeholders in every decision that is made by the Roads Ministry. Honorable Speaker, that circular has since been withdrawn, pending further consultations. Honorable Speaker, I want to assure this Honorable House and these Honorable members that into this you see in our constituencies when you travel up country, especially the rural constituencies. Honorable Speaker, and as the Member of Parliament for Deer constituency, I cannot show you one single road that has been implemented using the billions of funds that we allocate to them. Honorable Speaker, we will guard this fund and will do our best to ensure that nobody will encroach into it. It is sad that our friends are thought of going to courts to interfere with the work of the members of Parliament, while we do our best. We always do our best during our budget-making process to avail resources to our governors to be able to do the work that they are supposed to do, to better the lives of Kenyans and to better our roads and our schools, especially our kindergartens. Honorable Speaker, if you ask members of Parliament here, they will tell you, on top of renovating and making better the primary school and secondary school infrastructure, they stretch over to helping the governors renovate kindergartens, which is not our responsibility. Honorable Speaker, I want to again assure the House that we'll do our best to support and to safeguard this fund. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
They have withdrawn the circular. You will tell us why they issued in the first place.
Yes, it has been withdrawn.
Yes.
Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to donate 1 minute to my colleague.
You have no time to donate. This is not debate time. Yes, Alice, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, this matter is very, very important, and I just want to tell Chair for Roads that if he doesn't give you a satisfactory answer by the time National Assembly, we execute this matter to the rata. He better need to know that this matter is very important to us, and we are not talking any shortcut when dealing with it.
Yes, Olwach.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the directions that you have given. And I would like to agree with you that in spite of the withdrawal, a statement needs to be filed before this House. And the reason that I think it is still important is because that letter he is adverting to needs to be part of the record of this House. The second reason, Mr. Speaker, is that the House will recall that during the supplementary budget, we added Kenya shillings 7 to the road levy RLMF. These ceilings should not be going down. They should be going up. We are collecting close to about 4.8 billion shillings, and we must have a written assurance. Why are the reductions even being contemplated? Those must form part of this record. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
We must move to the next statement. Owen Bayer, you wanted to, your leader is here now, so he'll wait. Yes, who is the next? Mohammed.
Who are fighting members of parliament on this issue of roads, Mr. Speaker, is not even governors. It is Kenya Roads Board and KERA. That is our problem, Mr. Speaker, as a House. Mr. Speaker, this is not the first time they did a circular which they have withdrawn. There was an earlier one, I hope the chairman remembers, where they were reducing also the amount, and the House raised the matter, it was raised in the House, and they withdrew it. It's the same thing they are doing. Why is KERA and Kenya Roads Boards not consulting Parliament before they take such a drastic action, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, it's high time the Committee of Roads, through their chair here, reminds KERA and Kenya Roads Board who their bosses are in Kenya here, who is oversighting them. And instead of dealing with the Council of Governors and such kind of people, when they want their budget even processed, they go through the House Transport Committee, Mr. Speaker. And it's the same group that is fighting members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we also need to deal with KERA and Kenya Roads Board once and for all, Mr. Speaker.
Ado? No, that matter have gone past. We've spent more than 40 minutes on one statement. I disallow. Ado?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request. Honorable Speaker, approximately 75% of our country's landmass consists of arid and semi-arid lands, often referred to as ASAL regions. Despite this, there has been a significant and disproportionate focus on agricultural investment in the wetlands, while the immense potential of drylands remains underutilized. As the effects of climate change continue to worsen, resulting in unpredictable rainfall patterns and extended droughts and dry spells, it is increasingly clear that Kenya cannot rely solely on rain-fed agriculture. This raises the critical question as to why there is no focus on more resources, expertise, and policy attention to harnessing the potential of our drylands through modern agricultural practices, such as large-scale irrigation, the development of drought-resistant crops, and innovative water harvesting techniques to achieve food security. I believe that the answer to Kenya's quest for food security today lies in its arid lands. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on the following. 1. The policies and strategic plans aimed at promoting dry land, if any, in place to guide investment and interventions, including the development of water infrastructure for irrigation practices. Initiatives that the government has put in place to support farmers in ASAL regions, including provision of knowledge and tools needed to engage in sustainable and productive agricultural activities. Number 3, specific steps being taken to address the challenges of water scarcity, poor infrastructure, and the high cost of accessing inputs in dry areas, particularly roads and water supply infrastructure. And lastly, the provision of a report on the current agricultural policies that align with the National Development Agenda, particularly Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda with respect to food security and how the government intends to balance investment between wetland areas and dry land regions to ensure equitable and sustainable agricultural growth across the country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Is Dr. Mutunga here? Any member from Agriculture Committee? King Ferdinand?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I think
2 weeks. Bring the statement in response in 2 weeks.
The chairman is not here, but I want to confirm that we can give the reply after 2 weeks.
Very good.
Because I think the chairman is not here, and you have a very good important point that you have raised. So we look at it, and after 2 weeks, we'll be able to get...
Not after 2 weeks, in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks' time.
Yes. Donya?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to request for a statement regarding provision of textbooks in schools. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding provision of textbooks in schools. Honorable Speaker, it is in every parent's noble responsibility to ensure that their children get quality education. However, there is a growing concern among parents regarding the number of textbooks provided by the Ministry of Education and those that parents stroke guardians must purchase. There have been claims that the ministry requires the students to purchase up to 4 textbooks per subject, making it financially challenging for parents to purchase all the required textbooks to supplement their child's learning. The cost of education is already high for most parents, hence it is crucial that the government comes out and clearly stipulates the issue of textbooks provision. Schools are requiring parents to purchase a set of textbooks. As such, most parents are in dilemma on the number of textbooks they should purchase as they take part in investigating in their children's education. Honorable Speaker, while we appreciate that some topics or subjects may require additional textbooks to supplement learning, it is important to emphasize that parents should never feel obligated to purchase more textbooks than what is essential. It is always recommended that the Ministry of Education should provide every student with essential textbooks that are needed for their academic success. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education to appraise the House on the following. 1, a comprehensive report on the policy on provision of textbooks in schools, and the role of parents to purchase extra textbooks. Number 2, to clarify on the approved course books and the number of textbooks recommended in both primary and secondary education for each learner in the respective subjects. And lastly, the steps taken by the Ministry of Education to ensure that all learners are provided with the requisite number of approved course books and supplementary textbooks to avoid inequities in access to learning materials among learners. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chairman, Education. Yes, tell your committee, Nabi, to bring a response to this statement in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Joshua Kandie has indicated that his statement looks different from what is submitted to the table office. So I put it off to have it reconciled. Clerk, you follow up that. You should not edit member statements to the extent that they lose meaning. Barongo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding upgrading of road networks in Bomachoge, Borabu constituency to bitumen standards. Honorable Speaker, the construction of Mogonga, Kenyenya, Rio Kindo, Magenche, Mariba, Nyagancha, Eberege, Kenyenya TTC, and Magena road links commenced on the 5th of August, the year 2016. The development was intended to enhance accessibility of these areas and support the movement of people, goods, and services. Sadly, more than 36 months after the signing of the contract, the road links are yet to be completed. This has hampered mobility in the constituency, including access to essential services. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, the status of upgrading of the roads network in Bomachoge Borabu constituency to bitumen standards, and 2, the timelines for the completion of the long-stalled projects in the constituency. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
GK, that is directed at you. Bring the statement, the response in 2 weeks. Give GK.
We'll do so, Honorable Speaker.
Areko Namoit. Member for Turkana South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife regarding the status of implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between County Government of Turkana and Kenya Wildlife Service. Honorable Speaker, South Turkana National Reserve is a national reserve established under the Wildlife Conservancy and Management Act, CAP 376. On 19 January 2017, the County Government of Turkana and the Kenya Wildlife Service signed a Memorandum of Understanding to provide a joint framework for effective and sustainable management of the reserve and to enhance tourism and ecological conservation for socio-economic development. To realize the objectives of Memorandum of Understanding, the parties agreed on two-phase application of their respective obligation running from 2017 to 2019 and 2020 to 2025. Despite the period of the subsistence of the MOU lapsing in nearly 2025, no tangible efforts have been made to ensure effective and sustainable management of the reserve as had been envisaged. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on the following. 1. The status of the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding between Kenya Wildlife Service and the County Government of Turkana. 2. A report on the Conservancy Rangers recruited by KWS in collaboration with the county government in the last 5 years. 3. The long-term plans the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife as regarding the restoration of the South Turkana National Reserve, including its conversion into a community conservancy. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the details of any development activities planned by the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, including construction of water ponds, dams, and access roads within the reserve. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Chair, Tourism. Any member? Naomi, you tell the Chair, Tourism to bring a response in 2 weeks.
And we'll do that. Thank you, Speaker.
Next statement, Majority Leader. Go ahead if you have.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Monday, 7th October, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, as members are aware, this week, the House considered the special motion on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of HE Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President. To you, honorable members of this House, for your sacrifice, active participation, and overall dedication and contribution during the recent impeachment motion. This process, though challenging, exemplified our commitment to uphold the principles. Your engagement and thoughtful deliberations throughout this process has not gone unnoticed. Each of you brought enough invaluable perspective, ensuring that we examine the issues at hand with rigor and integrity. It is through such collaborative efforts that we can strengthen our institutions and reaffirm the trust placed in us by the people we serve. Notably, Honorable Speaker, this matter transcended party lines and spoke to our commitment to good governance, accountability, and fidelity to the Constitution. I commend those who courageously stood for what they believed was right, fostering a discourse that reflects values we uphold. It is essential that we continue to work together, united in our pursuit of justice and ethical governance. Let us carry forward the lessons learned from this experience, remaining steadfast in our commitment to serve the public with honor and respect. Thank you once again for your diligence and dedication. Honorable Speaker, with regards to the business schedule for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to consider the following bills if not concluded today. A Committee of the Whole House on, number 1, Senate amendments to the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill 2023, and 2, Senate amendments to the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill 2023. B, second reading of the following bills. 1, the Kenya National Library Service Bill 2023. 2, the Equalization Fund Administration Bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2023. And 3, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill 2022. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, debate will also be undertaken on the following motions should they not be concluded today. A, number 1, consideration of Senate amendment to the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill 2023. 2. Consideration of Senate amendment to the Statutory Instrument Amendment Bill 2023. 3. First report on the implementation status of House resolution on committee reports and public participation. Number 4, report on the alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. Number 5, second report on employment diversity audit in public institutions. 6, report of the extraordinary session of the 6th Pan-African Parliament, PAP. Number 7, consideration of the reports on financial statement of state corporations, Nyanza region. Number 8, consideration of sessional paper number 5 of 2023 on the national policy on labor migration. And 9, third report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporation. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 42A, 5 and 6, I wish to convey that the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport is scheduled to appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 16th October, to respond to the following questions. Number 1, question by private notice number 013/2024 by the member for Gatanga, Honorable Wakili Edward Bureo, MP, regarding status of any negotiations for concession agreement between the government and the Adani Group regarding the management of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA. Number 2, question number 167/2023 by the member for Baringo Central, Honorable Joshua Kandie, MP, regarding criteria used and applied by the Kenya Roads Board, KRB, to determine the amount of funds allocated to each constituency. Question number 3, question number 178/2023 by the member for Kinongo, Honorable Gonzirai, MP, regarding the issuance of demolition notice against Makinon Road Trading Center building by the Kenya National Highway Authority, KENHA. Number 4, question number 013/2024 by the member for Funyula, Honorable Dr. Ojambo Oundo, MP, regarding the current status of Matayos Ganjala Nakasiko Nagina Road that was tendered under the 10,000 kilometers low volume sealed road LVS SR procured during the commencement of financial year 2017-2018. Number 5, question number regarding the state report on the progress project. Number 6, question number 70/2024 by the member for Malava, Honorable Mululu Ijendi, MP, regarding the progress report of construction of Class AI, A1, Kakamega, Kaburengu Road, whose construction commenced in October 2023. Number 7, question number 71/2024 by the member for Westlands, Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, MP, regarding policy decision and rationale behind the use of unmarked, unregistered, and distorted plates by police service while on public mission on public roads. Number 8, question number 79/2024 by the member of construction Oni Road in Yatamba for Laikipia North, Honorable Sarah Korere, MP, regarding reasons for delay in completion of construction works on Doldol Nanyuki Road in Laikipia North constituency. Number 10, questions number 131/2024 by the member for West Pokot, Honorable Rael Kasiwai, MP, regarding rationale behind the stalling of Parpelo Tot Marich Road project and the by the member for Mutunga, Honorable Kasim Tandasa MP, regarding the update on the progress of construction of Kwale Kinango B92 road, whose construction commenced on 4th August 2021 and was to be completed on 3rd August 2024. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee will reconvene on Tuesday, 15th October 2024 to schedule business for the rest of that week on behalf to complement government effort of the House today. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority. Next order.
Number 8, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption. Second reading. Question to be put.
Can you stay this? We'll put the question on Tuesday. Pardon? Was the mover called to reply? Huh? Carol, you are not there the day you are supposed to continue. Under the standing orders, you lose the opportunity. Yes. Next order, number 9.
Order number 9, the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2023, second reading.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2023, be now read a second time. By way of introduction, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya National Library Service Bill 2023 seeks to give effect to the provisions of Article 11(2)(a) of Constitution, which mandates the state to promote all forms of national and cultural expressions through literature, the arts, traditional celebrations, science, communication, information, mass media, publication, libraries, and other cultural heritage. As a background, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya National Library Service Bill was previously considered in the 12th Parliament. The bill was passed by the National Assembly on the 6th July 2023 and therefore forwarded to the Senate for the considerations. However, by the end of the term of the 12th Parliament, the Senate had not concluded the considerations of the bill. Honorable Speaker, permit me now to give a brief summary of the salient features of the bill. The purpose of the bill is to provide a legal framework for the preservation of our national documentary heritage, as well as to distinguish the function of the Kenya National Library Services from the other public libraries managed by the county governments. Honorable Speaker, this bill establishes the Kenya National Library Service as a body to cooperate with perpetual succession and whose functions shall include acquiring, preserving, and maintaining a collection of library resources, carrying out and encouraging research in the development of the libraries and related services, and providing national library reference and referral service, among others. Honorable Speaker, the bill provides that the management of the Kenya National Library Services shall vest in a board consisting of chairperson and 8 other members. The bill further sets out the respective qualifications of the chairperson and the members of the board. The board shall be responsible for the furtherance of the objects of the Kenya National Library Service. Honorable Speaker, The bill also provides for the appointment of the Director General of the Kenya National Library Service, who shall be an ex-official member of the board and who shall be responsible to the board for the day-to-day management of the affairs of the service. Honorable Speaker, the bill provides for the repeal of the existing Kenya National Library Service Board Act, Cap 225. It is important to note that the existing Kenya National Library Service Board Act was last amended in the year 2007, which was before the enactment of the Constitution of Kenya 2020. The existing act is therefore inadequate as it does not appreciate the aspect of devolution, especially noting that libraries is among the functions of county government. The bill provides for the transition provisions in terms of which the rights, duties, assets, and liabilities of the former board shall be transferred to the Kenya National Library Service upon the commencement of the Act. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture facilitated public participation on the bill and in so doing received submissions from the Kenya National Library Service, the Council of County Governors, and the Kenya Library Association. Honorable Speaker, the stakeholders in making their submissions noted that while libraries is a function devolved to county governments, there was a need to provide for the national legislation establishing a national library that would bear the overall responsibility of acting as the central literary depository, the custodian of national documentary heritage, as well as the centralized custodian of the Kenya National Biography. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the various amendments proposed by the stakeholders as contained in the regard. The committee will be proposing various amendments to the bill aimed at improving the substance and the effectiveness of the bill. The proposed amendments to the bill are contained as recommendations in the report of the committee, under which the committee will be moving during the committee of the whole House. Honorable Speaker, key among the amendments to be proposed by the committee will be the clear spell out of the respective functions of the national government and the county government in relation to the library services. These amendments will avoid duplication and conflict of mandates between the two levels of government. To this effect, the committee will be proposing the amendments of Clause 5 of the bill to provide for the responsibilities of the national government, as well as the introduction of a new clause in the bill to provide for the responsibilities of the county governments. Honorable Speaker, the committee will be proposing that the role of the national government shall include the development of a national policy, legislation, and the setting of standards for the library sector, capacity building and technical assistance to the county government, as well as the publication of Kenya National Bibliography and the Kenya Periodicals Directory. Further, the Kenya National Library Service will be responsible for the establishment of the National Virtual Library Service. As this House may be aware, the virtual library was launched on 12th July 2023, and its purpose is to encourage a reading culture and provide an avenue through which one can grow and further their skills in a particular field anytime and anywhere. Honorable Speaker, the committee will be proposing that specific role of county government shall include the implementation of national policy, legislation, and standards for the library sector, the development, management, and maintenance of county libraries, as well as providing lending, outreach, and specialized services in relation to the county libraries. In closing, Honorable Speaker, I raise note that the enactment of the Kenya National Library Service Bill will result in the alignment of the regulations of library services to the Constitution, as well as providing an avenue for the preservation of Kenya's documentary heritage. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Have a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, let me ask Honorable Karori Omondi to second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I take great pleasure in seconding this particular bill. Honorable Speaker, if the House will recall, some counties of disparity in the capacity within each county to offer library services. This bill, by setting up the Kenya National Library Service, will have one institution with the capacity to help and develop harmonized national policy on national libraries or county libraries, as well as setting their standards and promoting capacity building and offering technical assistance to the various county governments. But most importantly, we need a central depository, not just for our literary heritage, but also for certain publications like the National Bibliography, the National Periodicals Directory, and the National Virtual Library, which would be accessible to all Kenyans wherever they may be, and at basically free. And also, we need a central service that can interface with international partners or international organizations to help the counties access other library services. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I second. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2023 be read a second time. Okay. Members who want to contribute, please press onto the intervention button. Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. And I know it's a bill that went through this House, went to the Senate, and now we are back on it. A bill that is very critical, Madam Speaker, in terms of our library, and especially when we talk about our young people, when we are talking about all the new technologies that have come through, the ChatGPTs and all that, that indeed you realize we need libraries. It's a function, yes, that was devolved, but Madam Speaker, when you look at our country, there are many, many functions that we devolved, but I think that needed a lot of processing. And that is why today we are finding some of the challenges. When you look at the memorandum of objects and reasons, the principal object of this bill is to give effect to Article 11(2)(a) of the Constitution, which mandates the state to promote all forms of national and cultural expressions through literature, the arts, traditional celebrations, science, communication, information, mass media, publications. And when you talk of that, Madam Speaker, you realize when we go out of the country, one of the places that they will take you for example, to understand a country is either in a museum or in a library. That you'll find yourself learning so much of that country, the history of that country, than any other place. Today we are saying, Madam Speaker, and I'll tell you, Nairobi, we are lucky. We have a team of young women who took over Macmillan Library, and I will tell you today they deserve, if there is any library, modified it, changed it into a library that when you walk in, you will appreciate that indeed. And we have students walking. They've done another one in Makongeni, Madam Speaker. For us in Dagoretti North, Madam Speaker, we had learned of a resource center. But you cannot believe that the land was grabbed. Today it is a yard where we are selling cars. And these are some of the issues that when we are dealing with this bill, we have to also look at where were resource centers allocated to be in this country so that we can continue building these libraries. These libraries also, as we talk of CBC, if we had serious libraries right now, we would find our children going in. But I know if you walk in, you'll find yourselves with books that were of our time. I've not seen even a place where we've transformed, where our young people can compete with this technology that we have in terms of AI, in terms of IT, all these things. But we are talking about it, we are using it, but we need a library to research. That was the purpose of a library, that even if a child is unable to get books, he or she can walk into a library and do a serious research for either the topics, the subjects he's doing in school, anything that they will need to research on. Today, even as we do all these researches, you find that if a library was there, today children will be understanding more about climate change, what to do, because those are the current issues that are affecting us. But when I go into a library, which we need, we will find ourselves with the old technologies of our agriculture. We will find ourselves with the old technology, the way we used to do veterinary, and yet seasons have changed. We are dealing with young people who are more ahead even with their teachers, and so we must be ahead. But I want to appreciate that when you look at the bill in Part 1, when it provides for preliminary matters, including the title, but Part 2 of the bill will tell you there's establishment of the Kenya National Library Service as a body corporate, which I agree. Then in Clause 5 provides for the functions of that Kenya National Library Service. And when I say of Kenya National, it's not just the Kenya National that is at Upper Hill, it's the Kenya National we are talking about that should be replicated across the counties. That is why this function was devolved. But it seems, as much as we are forcing and looking at those functions, these are some of the functions also governors find like there are no functions, Mr. Speaker. You find governors will not even take any time to appreciate that you need a library for your children within your counties, not just our children, but anyone who would want to do research, who would want to even learn now your county. Nothing is there, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, as we go through this bill and ensure that it goes back to the Senate and we are able to pass it, what I would wish us to really look at is not just the structures of the library, where you have, I see we are saying you need to nominate 2 people from the county, I don't know. Every bill that we do here, we create some committees and all that. But the most important thing, we need to look at libraries. They must become our icons where our young people can go and study the country, can go and understand the country. I know many will say in a museum, fine. In a museum you'll find our history, yes, in visual, in picture it. But then a library you will read. It needs to give us back that knowledge of reading, because I know of late we are not reading. And that is why we pick on one thing and we run with it. By the time we realize we have done something wrong, and that is what is hurting us. So I think the library will help us, and let us have clubs of people of reading in schools, where you have teams reading, and reading will also help us, especially for us who sometimes you have challenges of your own mind, you are growing. That's why you see the scholars, the Anyang-Nyongs, the Orengos are still functioning, because they read books, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this library service, I can see we've put everything that is needed. But in research, we are saying conducting research in emerging issues, which I'm saying in terms of climate change and any other issue that is current. But here we are saying in libraries and related services, developing research database. I think database is now there. With all this data we are collecting, I don't think we should be continuing to allow the government at any ministry, Mr. Speaker, when they want to do data collect, then why do we have a commission on data? Why are we spending money? We have to now start using what we have, but in the right way, Mr. Speaker, that we can link all these things to function better. And so for me, data collection, there's nothing like data collection. Data is already there. You've collected our data on fingers, you've collected our data on many other issues. Can we just be using that data? And if I am a new person, then let me go and register my data. But what is that? And that is why we are having a problem also, Mr. Speaker, in this SHA thing, because of this same thing called data. So you wonder, why does a Kenyan have an ID number? You have I don't know what, you have. And when you tell the Ministry of Education also to help you, if SHA would have told us that we are able to use a system that they've put in, we integrate everything, the better. Then nobody will be complaining, Mr. Speaker. So as we do these libraries, let us not put in things that already we have systems that are functioning. Those systems must integrate each other. We have information, communication, and technology, ICT control. Fine, you want to integrate in library services, integrate it across the country. It means we need 47 counties to have a library. So, Mr. Speaker, as I support, I think it is time. Let us use our resources as we know the challenges we are facing. Let us not spend extravagance in every sector. We just put some. And these committees we are putting, we must ask ourselves whether they are viable, because nowadays many things you can just do using technology. We don't really need to all the time have committees to function so that something can function. With those few remarks, I beg to support.
The Honorable Mazamzam, followed by MP for Wajir North, Sani. Zamzam Chimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kuchangia kwenye mswada ambao umeletwa bungeni leo Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati wetu kama tunakuwa Mheshimiwa Spika, ilikuwa tuna library sehemu moja ambayo ilikuwa tukiita Kenya National Library Services Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati hizo watoto tulikuwa tunapata muda hata kama hatuna vitabu nyumbani, lakini kulikuwa na sehemu ambayo tuweza kwenda tukakaa tukasoma tukaboresha elimu yetu Mheshimiwa Spika. Na hata yule mtoto wa kimaskini wa kule chini aweza kupata nafasi, kwa sababu wengine hata taa kuweza kuafford ile taa wanashindwa Mheshimiwa Spika kule nyumbani. Sasa mtoto ilikuwa tunaenda kule library, unapata wakati wako, sehemu ambayo ni ya science, sehemu ambayo ni agriculture, sehemu ambayo ni ya home science, sehemu ambayo ni ya arts na nini, ilikuwa tunapata katika library Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi nataka niseme hivi, sio katika kaunti 47 tu Mheshimiwa peke yake, Hapana Mheshimiwa Spika, ingewekwa mpaka kule kwenye constituency levels, kwa sababu kuna constituencies zingine ziko mbali sana. Mtoto kusafiri kutoka huku kwenda kwingine ni mbali. Kwa hiyo ingekuwa kila mbunge anawezeshwa kuweza kupata library katika constituency yake Mheshimiwa. Isiwe library tu ya kuitwa library Mheshimiwa, iwe ni library ambayo imefadhiliwa na vitabu vya kutosha, iwe imewekwa computers, iwe imewekwa kila kitu ambacho kinahitajika kwa mwanafunzi kuweza kujikwamua na kupata elimu Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, watoto wetu hasa wakati wa likizo unapata watoto wanaingia kwenye kamari, watoto wanaingia kwenye madisco, watoto wanaingia sehemu ambazo si nzuri Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo ikiwa kama wanaweza kupelekewa haya mahabara kule mashinani Mheshimiwa Spika, wakawa wanaweza kujifunza na kujituma kwa kutumia zile library Mheshimiwa Spika, hata ile hadhi ya elimu Mheshimiwa Spika tutapata inapanda juu Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini kila kitu ambacho kinapangwa na serikali lazima kiwe na mpangilio mzuri wa kuweza kukimiliki vizuri, wa kuweza kukiendesha vizuri, ili watoto wetu wakitaka kupata pale faida Mheshimiwa Spika kusiwe na changamoto.